Martin, hello. Can see there's a Martin here. There's Maria Paballo. That's fine, comrades. Maybe let's do that. Maybe let's just do. There's Tinyiko. There's some comrades are more. Oh, Soli, hello. Soli is here as well. I think he was one of those ones. I don't know, comrades, the list, but Lindy had the list, and they said we're going on at 10, isn't it? You all have the link, comrades, that joins the plenary. Should I be calling you comrades, or are you honorable members now? All right, let's meet at the plenary then, comrades, with at 10.
Okay, Chair. Now we are with you, Chair.
Okay. No, let's meet at 10 then, comrades. You have 10 minutes coffee break. If you are working from home, that coffee you must have bought yourself because employers are no longer providing us with coffee. Thanks, comrades. Let's meet at 10. Let's do our best for the workers in Gauteng and South Africa and the world, comrades. Amandla.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning. Morning. My name is Jabu Mucha.
Good morning.
Good morning, colleagues. How are you?
Well, how are you?
I'm well, thank you. We will be starting our meeting at past. We were busy dealing with some issues that colleagues were experiencing, but exactly at past, we will be definitely starting with our meeting. Apologies for that.
Okay.
I see we have about 23 on the platform now. So we will definitely start immediately after colleagues have all registered on the platform.
Good morning, the chair of committees.
How are you? How are you? How are you, Smiley?
Right kunjani sibari sami?
Grand man.
Ngishapha. Akudala ngagcina ilizwi lakho ngikugcina nje uma ukhuluma nabanye abantu ungakhulumi nami.
Yo, angithi manje sihlele endlini mfethu, yabo.
Ungangilahli sibari sami man, uyabona kuyafiwa man.
Ngeke ukulahla. Hayi.
Kuyafiwa sibari sami.
Kuyafiwa mfethu, kuyafiwa. Angikwazi nokuyongcwaba umngane wami omunye usitshile naye last week ungcwatshwa today. I can't even attend this funeral.
Mngani wami kubi ne?
Kubi man, go blind.
Yayi lento sesiqede ubuntu. Yabona le bengisho le kade kabandile. Ngiyengaya mina esibhedlela bengimikisa one of the two actually by two ama client baye bagula shelter, so I was forced to take them to hospital. Yabona? Yo mfana
Kugcwele.
it's like there was a bomb eshaye yalimaza abantu abaningi.
Yo.
Yabona?
Abanga mfethu.
And then you go there emaphasichin, they've turned them into ama wards.
Yo.
Abanye bahlele idulweni bacamele phezulu kwamalokhuza
kwama wheelchair la.
bacamele phezulu kwama yini lento lena
Ama
manje
armrest la.
lento yamanzi le.
Yes.
Uphethe ilona yakhe i-drip yakhe ucamele phezulu. Kubi.
Go blind.
Ayisho manje abakhona nokuklina kahle kuyanuka mfana kuthi. Yo.
Cabanga mfethu.
Ngizoyiraise nale yabona le manje kule caucus akuvulwe le field hospital the sooner siyivula the better.
No, we must open that field hospital. Beyisiza le nto le.
Yeah, le ndaba ukuthi sizogijimisa amalokhuza bese masikathola imibhede eyi-500 laphana.
Angithi besinayo lapha eNasrec. Iphelele.
Ngisho yona.
Yeah. Kumele ivule le nto le.
If we can get 500 beds, then ke sizoba lokhuza sizobe inkinga ithe ukwehla kancane.
Yeah. Kubi. Terrible.
Yeah,
no.
Lento le ize ngamanye amandla buhlungu yo.
Kakhulu. Yeah, but masithembeni nje ukuthi masiricha ipeak soon. No accelerator kwe-vaccine man. Masingaphusha i-vaccine le.
Yabona end of August sobe seyehla lento futhi. Angisho kuzobe secala sekuyashisa.
Yeah.
Manje inkinga abantu bakithi bayenzani? Mase kucala ukushisa what they do bavele bacale ba misbehave.
Angithi manje i-problem ukuthi uma abantu bagcwale itrad. So it's a problem.
Yeah.
It's a problem. Kakhulu. I think that they're calling a speed is like.
Okay, ba.
Chair, you might, when you are ready, we start.
Thank you, Chair. I think we are going to start. Thank you, honorable members. Welcome to our sector parliament. My name is Honorable Joe Mpisi. I'm the chairperson of the Finance Portfolio Committee. I'm assigned to preside over this workers' parliament. Without any waste of time, let me now call for a moment of silent prayer or meditation. Thank you very much. I now call on the singing of the national anthem. I'm not sure our technicians, whether they are ready, if they can play the singing of the national anthem. Is it possible to have that? Can you switch off the mic? Thank you very much to our technicians for playing that national anthem. Very important anthem indeed. Honorable members, thank you very much. And I want to call the House to order. I want to say that as we are sitting down now, please make sure that when you are not on the platform to speak, please make sure that your microphone is off and your video is off. You can only switch on your microphone and your video when you speak. And I hope that is in order. I'm now going to call on the deputy chairperson of committees to give us a welcome address and outline the process to be followed. Honorable Kanyane.
Thank you very much, Honorable PC, the chairperson of the Portfolio Committee of Finance in the Gauteng Provincial Legislature. To start with, let me also acknowledge the presence of the Speaker of the Gauteng Provincial Legislature, the chairperson of the committees in the legislature, and then also the Deputy Speaker of the Gauteng Provincial Legislature. Again, let me also acknowledge the presence of the MEC, Mme Nkomora Lehoko, the MEC of Finance in Gauteng, who will be speaking on behalf of the Premier and then also on behalf of the department, because this sector parliament, we have placed it with the Portfolio Committee of Finance. Again, let me also welcome the federations that are present here, the federations that will be engaging in the topics that have been outlined and also coming up with resolutions. We have FEDUSA, we have NACTU, we have SAFTU, and then also COSATU. These are the federations in the province that will be participating today in taking us through the issues of the workers. Again, I must really indicate that this workers' parliament, it comes as a continuation of the workers' month of May. And then we must really indicate that when you talk about the May Day, it didn't really come out of a thin air. This has been comrades, communities, workers who are so relentless, so selfless, with this unremitting perseverance in ensuring that workers' rights are really realized. I know if we analyze currently, our political climate is characterized by a high level of a political discord. And then I must really attest that, which is really fueled by extraneous subversive forces that are really bent in derailing us in achieving our goals as workers. Now, the challenge that we are really facing, it is now to further strengthen both ideological and our activist role as the workers, so that we are able to translate this the workers' rights, the workers, the classic from the workers. We have to translate it up to the level of workers at a level where workers can really be taken very seriously. I'm saying this because when you talk about the workers, you talk about the people who are really politically astute, politically with the clarity of how they really move forward. It is on that basis that we really have to convene this workers' parliament so that they are able to engage with the relevant departments. And the very same issues that they're going to highlight, they are going to be given the chairperson of the portfolio committee, Honorable Mpisi, is the one who will take care of these resolutions. And then from there, they're going to be owned by the committee, and they will be adopted and then be taken into the House. Once they are taken through the House, then we follow the resolution tracking. And it is in that process that at the end, we'll be able to report back to the workers. And I must really say, we are going to have the Mira Luoko, who will also be listening to you. And then again, these issues will also land up on a table. If there are other issues that she cannot really respond to, they'll be taken and referred accordingly to relevant departments. And if it is for the national departments, obviously we'll now use our NCOP route and make sure that the relevant minister is able to respond to the very same issues. I must say, and with confidence, that whatever discussions that are going to ensue, whatever resolutions that are going to take, they're going to be in a very capable hands of the chairperson of the portfolio committee. I'm saying that with certainty because of he has contributed immensely, especially in the federations. He has really left that nurturing heritage in the federations. And I take it, moving forward, let's really work together and make sure that at the end, we see the light of the tunnel. I'm not really going to take you long. I want to hand over back to the chairperson of the portfolio committee to really steer this ship and make sure that our objectives of today are really realized. I thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Mpapa Kanyani. Thank you for your welcome remarks. We really appreciate it. Now we'll then move to the next item. I would like to welcome the Honorable Speaker of the Gauteng Legislature, Honorable Lenteng Ntombi Mekwe, to address us as the sitting on the purpose of this event. Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker. Honorable Lenteng. Is Honorable Speaker on the platform? I don't see the Honorable Speaker. I think she might be having challenges.
Chairperson?
Yes, Mr. Nondonga.
It's Nondonga here, sorry, Chair. Yes, I understand Madam Speaker is attending the audit meeting, but she will join us immediately afterwards. I'll just have to check if she's ready to come back.
All right.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you so much. Let's then move to the next item. I would then like to move forward, honorable members, with your permission, and move to the next item. I would like to welcome the MEC for Finance and E-Governance, the Honorable Nomantungo Morale Hoko, and request her to deliver the keynote address on behalf of the Gauteng government. Honorable MEC. Honorable MEC. I don't see the MEC on the platform. Is she around? Mr. Nondonga, are we having the MEC?
I am trying to check, Chair. I'll also call her. Thanks, Chair. I will also try to call her just to check if she's good.
Anticipates that
We are challenged now. Two of our main speakers are not here.
Chair, I think we have to move. We'll give them the space when they
We'll give them
come
the
in.
space. Thank you, Deputy Chairperson of Committees. Then I think let's go then to, let me explain on how the presentations are going to unfold. I would like to explain to the chairpersons of the various committees how we'll be dealing with the Commission's report. And I believe that during the discussions of commissions in the workshop, each commission agree on the resolutions that will be presented and tabled in this sitting today. I would like to ask the person designated to present the resolutions of the commission and hand over the resolutions to the table after the debate, who will then be handed over, for processing as agreed. At the end of the debate, the commission's resolutions will be handed over to the chairperson of committees of the legislature so that they can be tabled at their meeting and forwarded to the executive for further action. And now I want to ask the secretary to read the first order. Secretary, please read the first order. Will the secretary please read the first order? Will please the secretary read the first order?
Thank you, Chair. I see, I think our colleague is having a challenge there. I'll read the first order.
Thank you.
Thank you. The first order is the debate on how the pandemic changed the world of work, and with sub-themes, ICT and its impact on the workers. Thank you.
Thank you. I now call on Honorable Vusmuzi Hlachwayo, the chairperson of the commission, to present their commission's report. Honorable Hlachwayo, please present the commission's report.
Thank you, Chairperson. We are new in this platform, yes. In our commission, the task given as read by the latter speaker is that it was saying how the pandemic changed the world of work. Chairperson, because of time, I'm not going to go through all what is in the document, but as a commission, what we have observed is that the pandemic of COVID-19 has resulted in job losses in all businesses, both big and small, and all sectors. Sectors that are worst affected that we could identify as a commission. Take note, Chairperson, we have discovered that all employment and all businesses, big and small, are affected by the pandemic. However, we have identified these following sectors as the worst affected: aviation, tourism, hospitality, manufacturing and textile, passenger rail services, we are talking of millions of jobs that were shared by these sectors, Chairperson. And what we have realized is that employers introduced automation and robots during these times in order to maximize profit and to save on the human resource. And we have also observed as a commission that employers, because of the pandemic, have started to violate the workplace legislations, because the department that is meant to monitor the employment, which is the Department of Labor, is overwhelmed with these conditions. We have also observed that the pandemic has affected not only the jobs, but even the quality of jobs, because employers, we are of the view as a commission that instead of us working together with employers as workers, employers are getting an opportunity to exploit the conditions where workers are made to accept lower wages or agree to being retrenched or being dismissed because of the pandemic. Even the quality of work is affected. We as a commission have looked at the ways in which we can mitigate this situation. As a commission, we are submitting to the sitting that we need to have reskilling of the workforce and the adaptation to the fourth industrial revolution of the workforce. And we would like government to assist workers across all sectors in training and reskilling them by opening training centers. We were also given questions, Chairperson, as a commission to explore. The first one, Chairperson, was what are the measures to be put in place to ensure that both the private and public sector maximize the level of output irrespective of the point of operation. Comrades, the speakers and the comrades who will be following me will make some submissions on this one, comrade. Bear with me, Chairperson. I'm a worker, so I may make a mistake of addressing the Chairperson as a comrade. I hope you will understand that.
I understand. I come from those ranks. I'm Honorable Mpisi.
Okay. Yes. And the other question is how would have early a release of spectrum assist the South African economy, as the majority of the institution resorted to micro teams meetings and Zoom meetings to ensure business continuity. As a commission chairperson, we had diverse views. There's a view that there is no evidence that the early release of the spectrum would reduce data prices, because we have seen your G3s and G4s, and there's nothing that we can say we have seen reduction in data prices. However, there's also a view from the same commission that says, when you look at the technology, your G5 and the fiber networks that is being introduced, you can see that there's an improvement in data, and you can see that service providers can even offer to the public your unlimited data at a reasonable price. Comrades will make some additions on that regard. There's another one that was talking, another question that was talking to, the last question says, if working remotely could cut unnecessary costs to institutions such as electricity and other basic services, how should the government and the trade unions provide the fair balance in leveraging on the available technology without risking other categories of job losses? We said the issue of risking other job categories is not guaranteed, because definitely the value chain will be affected. But we have observed that employers are also taking an advantage of this situation. Those comrades who can work from home, the employer is saving on electricity and water.
As you wrap up, Chair.
Okay. Yes. Is saving on electricity and water, and the employer is not paying for those. And the employer will demand that workers will work more hours now that there is no traveling. And we have also said there's a selective supply of the tools of trade when it comes to employers. Chairperson, I think I will, as a commission, this is what will be our observation and what we have come up with. The other comrades will make some addition, Chairperson.
Thank you, Honorable Hlatshwayo.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Hlatshwayo. We really appreciate it. Let's now move to the next speaker, Honorable Sipho Ndlovu. You have 3 minutes. Honorable Ndlovu.
Thank you, Honorable Chairperson. Moving from where Honorable Hlatshwayo has moved, it's important to note that part of the problems we are experiencing today in relation to the pandemic, it's mainly that workers are displaced. Furthermore, the more he has mentioned the issues of the sectors affected, but the most vulnerable workers in terms of your informal sector has been the most affected. In that only were they not being displaced, but furthermore, it was an issue of they were furthermore taken away their livelihoods in that part of the regulations that we have been able to put in place have not been able to make them to earn a living. That simply means that what mechanisms can we put in place to ensure that we safeguard their survival in terms of livelihoods, and that we can also ensure that opportunities are created for them. In relation to one of the key issues that have been raised by the ILO in terms of recommendation R204, that speaks about formalizing the informal sector to ensure that everyone is covered in terms not only of work, but equally post-work, that there could be also benefits for them. And this part of what this pandemic provides to us is an opportunity to introspect ourselves and ensure that in terms of our planning, we could look far ahead and say, what is it that we can do better that would better the lives of our people, especially the workers? It is true that part of the problems that have been brought in by the pandemic has exposed greediness in some of our big organizations. For example, where people have been told that you'll have to go to work at home especially in your debt collection services. And in that regard, we will then deduct 800 Rand from your salaries, which becomes something that presents quite a challenge to workers, considering the level of earnings that in that particular sector. However, we wish and we hope that this parliament would come up with resolutions that would ensure that we safeguard the gains that we have made so far in terms of building an equal society where all are given opportunities to ensure that they contribute to the wealth and the economic activity of the country.
Thank
It
you.
is in that spirit.
Thank you, Honorable Ndlovu. Your time is up. Thank you so much for the input. Let's then move to Honorable Mukwena. Honorable S. Mukwena. The platform is yours.
Thank you, Honorable Chairperson. It is Honorable Solomon Mukwane.
Mukwane.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
Chairperson, maybe, Honorable Chairperson, maybe to expand more on the first question. One of the issues that we realize as a commission is that there are measures in place, mostly at the policy stage. We therefore realize that failures from all sides, organized labor, the government, and also the public sector to monitor and implement current different measures which remain at this planning stage or where others are saying high level. It is a hindrance and it is currently haunting us during this pandemic. And this lack of policy implementation affect the realization of all good plans and also the output at all levels. Organized labor should play its pivotal role to ensure that these packages and measures put in place to create maximum opportunities is realized through meaningful job creation. We therefore make a call for a government to also include at all times organized labor in policy making. This will assist organized labor to ensure that its members and their voices are heard accordingly. We as the committee or the commission realize that there is a need for job resilience in these changing times, and proper meaningful collaboration from both public and private sector and the truthful involvement of the general public can assist everybody in terms of ensuring that not a lot of jobs are shared. The need to ensure a full and proper implementation of OHS regulation is important and has always provided gains for all stakeholders. It is therefore important that both public and private sector ensure compliance as one of the means to help working class assist in maximizing production in all spheres. And this, when a production is properly maximized, then jobs are also created. The Commission notes that these measures cannot be possible and maximum production cannot be realized when workers and communities are not involved in the planning stage. It is not all areas of production that are able to produce only from the workplace or production sites. Other areas are able to work optimally remotely and have displayed proper results irrespective of the work areas. It is therefore the call for this committee that many of these areas that are able to optimally produce remotely, let them be taken to that area, work remotely and be able to optimally do so as the Honorable Chairperson is at work and is producing optimally. Indeed, Chairperson, the Commission realized that, as our Chairperson has said, that the issue of reskilling and the issue of ensuring a proper adaptation to fourth industrial revolution is paramount for all of us to succeed in these changing times, because our times are not only changing because of the pandemic. We've got other areas of changes, the climate changes, the changes in the mining sector, especially the coal mining sector, the changes in the approach to electricity, all those things are going to affect workers. And we make a call to ensure that the government hears our voice in terms of establishment of the a training scheme or a training measures that will assist in reskilling the working class.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you so much, Chairperson.
Thank you very much. Your time is up. Thank you so much. Let's then move to the next speaker, Honorable Tsepang Lisiba. You have your 3 minutes. Honorable Lisiba.
Thank you. Good morning, Chair. Good morning, honorable members. We currently are in the Workers' Parliament. That is a great idea. But if you check, some of our members couldn't connect because they live in areas where we are struggling with connectivity. And I'm touching on this because there's an issue that relates to the spectrum release. If it could have been released, maybe it could have been better. We received the 3G spectrum, we received the 4G spectrum, and there was no impact on data prices. And also, when this spectrum are released across the country, the capitalists who are your telcos, like your Vodacom and MTN, Cell C and Telkom, they will make sure that they just provide services in those lucrative areas, like your Bryanston, Waterkloof, and so on. But going to our townships, our rural areas, there are no those services. Currently, they are fighting for the 5G. And they are going, if they receive that 5G, they will not even bother to make sure that the townships have that 5G. They will just roll out that 5G in the places where we've got currently your fiber to the home. That is, it's a fast broadband service. They also have the clear LTE that doesn't buffer, doesn't do anything. You can go to a township now, you'll think you are on 4G, but you are not on 4G. Or even on 4G, you've got less cells for connectivity. You wait for other people to drop off their calls so that you connect. Now, what we are trying to push for as the workers is to make sure that when this 5G spectrum is released, is that there are social obligations for those companies. And also we must push for the one that is going to make sure that that is the wholesale open access network. That is going to make sure that the new entrants, the black-owned companies are also coming to the market. Because the mistake that as South Africa we are doing that, we give people a free role to do as they please. The Vodacom, the MTN, they are just installing those services in the suburbs. But going to the townships, they are failing us. And we are quiet. Now, currently, some of the workers, they are told that because of the systems that we are using at work, they cannot connect via your 3G or your 2G where you are living for. Therefore, it means that you have to come to work. Even though your colleagues that are living in the suburbs, they are not coming to work. We have to come to work so that we can access those systems. So we must make sure that we push for network neutrality all over the country. And we must make sure that everyone who gets that, first of all, they must create sustainable quality jobs. They must give back to the community. They must reduce the data prices, because there was this hype of making sure, trying to reduce data prices. Where did it fall off? It just fell. The other challenge is that the Competition Commission, even with the penalties that they are giving these mobile companies, it's not enough, because they will give a fine of 20 million or 50 million to either Telkom, MTN, and it ends there. What about the consumers?
Thank you very much.
Thanks very much.
Much appreciated. Thank you so much. Let's move to the next speaker, Honorable Nkasa Sibusiso.
Yeah, no, thank you, Chair. I think I'll just, am I audible, Chair?
Yes, you are. 3 minutes for you.
Oh, okay. No, thank you, Chair. Yeah, I think I'll just add on from the latter leaders in terms of what they've added. What our commission also indicated in support of the views is that we as the federations, we need to join the transformation in terms of the fourth industrial revolution, in that COVID-19, it has fast-tracked technological transformation and digitalization, and we cannot afford as federations and trade unions to be left behind, as well as the country. Digital transformation is disruptive by its nature due to the fact that it is transforming the nature of work as we understand it to a new form of work. So this transformation can either be negative or positive, depending on the transformation process. So the negative part can be job losses owing to the workers being replaced by the technology, such as machinery, or even the change in the nature of work, as well as the location of work where it is found. So for us, as a commission, we're also saying that we need to advocate for policy inclusion that will address the skills required to minimize this future impact, as well as addressing the issue of skills mismatch. What we further saying is that data access should be viewed as a public service and not profit driven. It must be highly regulated for it to be accessible by majority. High cost of data for those seeking job opportunities are a restricted barrier to access those opportunities. We also need to deal with the infrastructure development that will support SMMEs. Measures of maximizing the level of output, irrespective of the point of operation, is one of the questions that was asked. What we indicated, we are saying that SMMEs are not supported by government in terms of, or the SMMEs as well as the informal sector, they're not supported and they are unable to carry out their operational costs that comes with the transformation. So this includes data requirements as the expenses it falls to them, tools of work for them to assist their employees who are working from home. They are unable to provide those. Infrastructure requirements is also expensive for them to transform their work and continue with the operations. So SMMEs, they need to be supported to be able to survive during this time of the pandemic. So we are also saying that there's also non-adherence to the basic conditions of employment in terms of the hours of work and other benefits that are accompanied in this framework, such as your sick leave and all of that. So we might need to review some of those legislation to see now how do they accommodate the new nature of work that is coming. Last but not least, we are saying that technological advancement and skills development and training are very essential. With the technological transformation, we are talking to the skills development of workers in terms of them being equipped with the necessary skills to advance transformation. And we must also identify the new form of work and transfer the necessary skills to save job loss and create new jobs. Thank you, Chair. I think I'll end it there.
Yeah, thank you very much. I now call for open time and will only allow 4 participants to speak on this debate. And also note that participants who are on the speaking list will not be allowed to speak again during the open time. Also, do not forget to mention your name and the rule 77.7. And I'm now going to have an open time. Those who want to speak, can you please raise your hands? I can't see the function on my system here, the hand function, but you can indicate if you want to speak, your name and the federation. So there are no speakers for this open time. Then let me move now directly to Honorable Hlachwayo. Please reply to the debate and move for the adoption of the Commission's report. Honorable Hlachwayo.
Thank you, Chairperson. Chairperson, I would like to endorse all the input of the comrades who have made an input. We hope and really encourage Chairperson the platform like this one, and we do feel that as workers we need to work as a team. That is, we as workers and the parliament, we also would like to work with employers in order to find the solution to the challenges of the economy, of the workers, and of everybody. It is said, Chairperson, that at times we feel that we are in the wilderness as the workers. The intervention by government of the TERS is much appreciated by us as the workers. The challenge is when these interventions, you feel that they don't reach the poor and the workers, and you feel that you get reports that such interventions are being squandered by the employers who apply on behalf of the workers, or sometimes the officials in the departments. We say, Chairperson, without me wasting time, such platforms are much appreciated. We endorse the input, and we hope that we will have working relations like this going forward. Thank you, Chairperson.
So you're moving for the adoption of the report?
We are moving for the adoption of the report. My apology, Chairperson.
Thank you very much. I now call for a seconder. Any seconder for the report? Any seconder from the participants in the commission?
Seconded, Chair.
Thank you very much. Thank you, honorable members, and thank you for the debate. I now want to go back to our speaker and call on the MEC for finance and e-government to give us the keynote address, and then we'll then go back to our next item. Honorable Nomantung Komorale-Hoko, please address us.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Chair, and let me greet the leadership, Madam Speaker and the Deputy Speaker, Chairperson of committees, Deputy Chair of committees, fellow executive members. I think they are listening where they are. Members of the legislature, representatives of business, organized labor, and Madam Speaker, Chairperson of the committee, Mr. Mpisi. This sitting takes place against the far-reaching and fundamental steps taken by the President Cyril Ramaphosa to put our country under alert level 4 on Sunday evening. This drastic step is necessary and required given the rapid spread of COVID-19 in our country, especially in our province, which is Gauteng. It is not an easy decision to arrive at, but if we were to curtail the further spread and contain the outbreak, where it was important that the movement of people is managed and limited. Gauteng province has seen the highest number of people infected, and overall this represents the single most serious concern and greatest risk to health infrastructure and health services in our province. Chairperson, there is no doubt that this pandemic is increasingly claiming the lives of our people and slowing down the economy of this country. The COVID-19 has and continues to play havoc with our economies. The pandemic has caused great harm in our lives, our households, irrespective of age or class. Now it is the time to reflect and do things differently as we prepare to honor the life of former President Nelson Mandela next month. Chairperson and other honorable members of the House, we are honored and privileged to be part of this historic session of Workers' Sector Parliament to engage on critical matters related to the first one, how the COVID-19 pandemic has changed the world of work. The second one is the role that government has to play to support both business and workers. The third one is the role of unions that are playing in assisting workers. Chair, we are meeting virtually today because of the impact of the COVID-19 and has had on the way we work. I'm speaking to you today amid a spike of infections in this province, and that will have a significant impact on the lives of all the workers. The pandemic has impacted the economy and the labor force negatively, and we have seen significant job losses. The quarterly labor force survey for June 2021 indicates that unemployment increased again by 0.1% in the first quarter of 2021. The official unemployment rate is now 32.6%. More alarming, the official unemployment rate among youth at the age of between age of 16 to 34 years is 46.3%. A glimmer of hope is that employment in the formal sector increased slightly despite the overall decline. Most of the job losses were in the informal sector, which requires greater physical interaction for its success in the midst of calls for social distancing because of the devastating of the third wave. Premier David Makura, in his budget speech on the 24th of June 2021, ruled out that implementing stricter lockdown levels in the province will be better. It indicated that we simply cannot afford to disrupt the improvements in the formal sector of our economy. As government, we therefore must make every effort to support the informal sector of the economy as well as youth of our province in the job market. Honorable Chair, honorable members, it has been proven that the best way to slow the spread of COVID-19 virus while we wait for the vaccine are through non-pharmaceutical methods of wearing a mask correctly, sanitizing frequently, and through social distancing. The implementation of this method has meant that many workers, mostly in the formal sector and in government, are required to work from home. Physical meetings in the world of work have now been replaced by virtual meetings through various platforms, including Microsoft Teams, Zoom, and WebEx. Also, business processes and services that previously required physical contact have been replaced by e-services and applications that minimize the need for people to have physical interactions. The Department of E-Government has created an environment for employees to effectively work remotely by activating 21,698 Microsoft Teams user licenses for all the GPG staff. Also, the department has developed several e-services in response to the demand of services by client departments. This has allowed Gauteng provincial government to continue to function, provide services during the pandemic. Madam Speaker, and I'm sorry, Honorable Chair and honorable members of the House, this new world of work now demands that both government and private sector invest in tools of trade that realize effective work from home and business processes. This includes the provision of laptops, 4G cards, and mobile phones. Besides these devices, working from home is not possible without connectivity. The cost of data is expensive. The Competition Commission found that mobile data service providers are charging too much for data and is working to reduce the cost of data. In Gauteng, the Department of eGov is working actively to ensure that we expand the current Gauteng broadband network, to ensure that we connect the province throughout the province by increasing the number of Wi-Fi breakout points on the network and providing affordable connectivity in poor communities. Chairperson and honorable members, with the increase on online activities of staff to provide services to Gauteng, department has ensured that the data and information technology of the Gauteng province remains secure, available, reliable, and usable by continuing to implement robust cybersecurity measures to protect the personal information of our citizens. Chair, since the beginning of COVID-19, the Department of eGov has played a critical role in supporting various departments to deliver services in the midst of the pandemic. We have noted increase in the demand for digitization of government services to improve government and citizen engagement and to discourage the physical movement of our citizens when they need access to government services. In compliance with the disaster management regulations, the department developed a COVID-19 pre-screening application to ensure that employees and clients are screened when they access our buildings. This application facilitates the monitoring of COVID-19 cases and makes contact tracing easier for the Provincial Joint Operations Center. Chair, the department has again, since the pandemic, provided online training to all the GPG staff to ensure that they are fully capable to utilize the existing technology efficiently and effectively in providing government services to citizens. Going forward, the department will train 5,000 GPG staff on an online platform to ensure that they have relevant and required skills in the world of work. Also, 5,000 youth will benefit from the ICT Skills Development Program under Action Lab program, and 100 will be placed for ICT experiential learning. Honorable members, whilst managing the COVID-19 pandemic, the department developed the Gauteng 4IR growth and digitalization strategy to enhance the management and deployment of digital infrastructure technologies with a view to create opportunities for GPG staff, citizens, and our youth to operate effectively and efficiently within a digitized world. Through the implementation of the strategy, we shall unlock economic opportunities, particularly for women, youth, and people with disabilities, SMMEs, and contribute to the township economy revitalization. The department has continued to support township-based ICT entrepreneurs through the Design and Validation Center. The entrepreneurs undergo coaching, mentoring programs to grow and sustain their businesses. Chair, the department again have an engagement that is busy organizing engagements that we need to explore possible ICT solutions relating to the optimal use of e-learning to ensure that the current human capital is capable to deliver services that are expected, which is artificial intelligence, forecasting tools, management of calls remotely, development of mobile applications, predictive deep learning techniques with procedures for artificial intelligence and machine learning. It is not a secret that we have historical relations with unions in this country, as they have played a critical role in the struggle against apartheid and exploitation of workers. During the pandemic, we have constantly engaged to ensure that the lives and rights of the workers are protected. As a practice in the Department of eGov, we have established a standing committee made up of representatives from employer and labor to promote labor peace through constant engagement on labor-related matters. This has been particularly useful during the pandemic. We have gained consensus with the unions on the measures that the department is putting in place to protect our workers. Our union representatives have made valuable inputs in these measures and are supporting the department in all efforts. We have established a united front against onslaught of the pandemic. Both the COVID-19 and the fourth IR, which is the fourth industrial revolution, dictate that unions and government should work in collaboration to encourage members to participate in ICT skills development programs to remain relevant in all times. Besides, members should be encouraged at all times to adhere to the disaster management regulations and do simple things such as social distancing, washing of hands, wearing of a mask in public space, and avoid super spread events. The joint approach to encourage people to adhere to travel restrictions and stay-at-home orders shall continue, meaningful towards flattening the curve and restoring normality. Chair, the third wave is an indication that the battle against the COVID-19 has just begun, and it is far from over. Through joint collaboration with the unions, we shall overcome one day. Besides, the economic slowdown has the potential to create new problems in the financial system, and that may lead to the closure of some companies or job losses. The increase of job losses may reverse the gains we've made against the increasing levels of poverty and inequality. Unless we do things differently, we may find ourselves in a lengthy recession, which may result in the economic slowdown. The prediction is that it will be tough for businesses to deal with a lengthy close down. Many people will be laid off, and those who are employed will go through salary reductions. Such eventuality will impact negatively in the economic growth of the province, and the cycle will go on. As Gauteng Provincial Government, we are continuing with our focus on high growth priority sectors and infrastructure investment projects in order to unlock the transformation, modernization, reindustrialization of the different corridors, including districts of our Gauteng city region. This is essential to grow economy, create jobs, and reduce unemployment. In the financial year, Chair, we have set aside 14.4 billion towards economic services. An additional amount of 44.2 billion is allocated over the MTF to the Department of Roads and Transport, Economic Development, Agriculture and Rural Development to support economic growth initiatives. These include the revitalization of township economies, proactively linking communities to economic opportunities by increasing the participation of small, medium, and micro enterprises, including cooperatives in the province, because they are part of the mainstream of our economy, as well as promoting and attracting trade and investment to the economy. Turning to the infrastructure, Chair, over the 2021 MTF, Gauteng Provincial Government will be investing a total of 35.3 billion in social and economic infrastructure. A total of 13.8 billion of this amount is set aside for new or replacement of infrastructure, while 20.4 billion goes towards maintenance, refurbishment, and upgrades of the existing infrastructure. Projects cutting across the 5 corridors are allocated the largest share of the allocation, which at 15.3 billion or 43% is mainly for maintenance programs to ensure that the condition of Gauteng Provincial Government infrastructure assets, such as building and roads, is preserved. The Central Development Corridor receives the second largest allocation at 6.4 billion or 18%, and the remaining 13.7 billion or 39% is shared by the Eastern, Northern, Southern, and Western Development Corridors. Honorable members, we're beginning to see the results of strategic investment into various sectors of the economy. 2 weeks ago, statistics of South Africa are the investments that we are making to reignite the economy, and that is said our gross domestic GDP increased for the 3rd consecutive quarter. 8 of the 10 industries reported gains in the first quarter of this year, led by mining, finance, trade and transport and communication, including manufacturing. They gained in this slight increase. 8 of the 10 have indicated that these of the key industries are key to our growth strategy of growing Gauteng Together Vision 2030, and they demonstrate that we are on the right track as a province. In conclusion, Chair, we need to engage in an honest and robust debate to reach viable solutions to save lives of our people and the economy of this country. Lest history judges us differently. The real challenge is that the coronavirus spread rapidly throughout the province now and the world at large. The pandemic has created severe economic impact in the different sectors of the economy, and that impacted negatively on the global trade, interest rates, financial market, and regrettably reversed the gains made against the reduction of poverty and inequality in the country. Chair, I will end there, but I think, Chair, part of the program or the recommendations that the sector parliament will come up with, especially on ICT, will definitely be forwarded to me by the office of the speaker and the presiding officers, so that we are able to make follow-ups on those, so that when the next parliament comes, when you will be looking into the previous recommendations, we will be able to improve in specific areas that the leadership have raised of Parliament. I've picked up notes when they were talking on some of the critical areas that they think we should do, but I will still have an audience with the leadership of COSATU and other unions, leaders of other unions that I hear from different federations, so that we are able to sit down and see what are the specific things that as the Department of eGov we can do to speed up the process of broadband connectivity to their specific areas that they've identified. I thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Honorable MEC. We appreciate it, and thanks for the keynote address. We really appreciate it as the Workers' Parliament. I'll now move honorable members to the Secretary to read the second order.
Thank you, Chair, once more. The next order is a debate on the role of labor unions in assisting workers, with sub-themes: 1, reflecting on the success of minimum wage bill approval, as well as how labor unions are supporting women amid the pandemic. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I now call on Honorable Simpiwe Gada, the chairperson of the commission, to present the commission's report. Honorable Gada. Honorable Simpiwe. Honorable Simpiwe Gada. Honorable Simpiwe is not there. Let's then move to Honorable Peter Moloi. Honorable Peter Moloi. There's none there again. Let's go to Honorable Peter Foss.
Thank you, Chair. Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Okay. Yes. Think from our side, just to contribute to the debate on the role of unions, we feel that the mushrooming of unions or the proliferation of unions is causing a challenge due to the fact that as unions are increasing, you find that certain unions consist of 200, 300 members. It causes a challenge because, especially the challenge of capacity of those unions. Also feel that some of these unions that are coming up and mushrooming, they don't have basic or formal constitutional structures. You find that a union exists on national level, but it does not have a footprint in provinces or branches or whatever. So it causes a problem, especially when it comes to capacity in assisting members of that union. The issue of capacity in dealing with members and assisting members is very important when it comes to activities of unions. I mean, if we look across the spectrum of federations, you find that the sectoral unions, for example, let's look at SADTU. In COSATU, SADTU has a capacity to deal with issues of their members. It will then help us as unions or federations to learn from each other. If you also look at, again, in the public sector, you go to FEDUSA, you have a union like the PSA. They are also much capacitated, so we can also learn from them. If you go to a federation like SAFTU, you find that there are also unions within the public sector like NUPSO, who's having capacity. There are unions in the like NUMSA, who's having capacity. The point that we're trying to make is to say that capacity is very important in assisting our members, and we must find a way to see across federations or across unions, how do we learn from each other to become capacitated, or how can government assist unions becoming capacitated to be able to handle the challenges of members. But I think the broader debate would then be to say, as federations, as unions, when do we then come together to start discussing the issue of one federation, one country, or one sector, one union? Because if that debate can be started, I know it might be a long-term one, but such a debate can be started. We might find that if we have one union in one sector that is very strong, then unions will be more capacitated to handle issues of members and to deal with the challenges in the workplace and on the shop floor. So that is a debate that needs to be started at some point. I know it's something that comes from years back, but it seems that we don't have the appetite or the ability to start that debate. So we would really like unions and federations in the long term to look at that debate and start it and see where do we go from there. I think with capacitated unions, we will be able to assist our members, not members, even our communities. Remember, as a worker, you are part of a community as well. You're a leader in a union, then you become a leader in your community as well. So that debate in the near future should be started. It can only be started by us as unions or federations. I think we want to submit that. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Foss. Let's go to Honorable Amos Munyela. Honorable Munyela. Honorable Munyela. Okay. It seems as if we don't have Kosatu in the house. Let's then, I now call for an open time, and we'll only allow 4 participants to speak on the debate. And also a note that participants who have already spoken on the list are not going to allow to speak during the open time. And also do not forget to mention your name and the rule 77.7. Thank you. Can I note hands now? Those who want to speak on open time? There's none. And the chairperson of the commission is not here to reply on the debate. Honorable Gada, he hasn't joined. So we'll skip the commission because this commission.
To raise a hand.
Yes, who's that?
Tawang Sonyati, the deputy chairperson of
Yes,
COSATU.
thank you, Chair. Please go ahead.
Yeah, I think also the people in the commission, because it's only one of them that was able to can speak. Much of them, they could not come and present. But what I wanted to talk to, yes, I think taking off from the latter speaker, Peter Foss, it's that it's the capacity of the unions. It's very much important, but also we want to believe that South Africa has a strong union presence in terms of the influence and then in terms of protecting the workers' rights and all that. Maybe it might be that will be undermined by the proliferation of the unions, much as that there is much bigger percentage of workers that are not unionized. But during this period of the pandemic, we would have seen a lot of workers, though particularly those that are not unionized, being assisted by unions, being assisted by the federations, and also many of those workers now starting to appreciate the importance of the unions. Hence, you would see, as much as there would be loss of union members as a result of retrenchments and the loss of jobs, but those that are there, they start to appreciate unions and joining unions on the basis of the strength of the unions that are there in South Africa. But having said that, there is a lot that still needs to be done, and because there's still more of the unions that are outside, and the changing world is now removing workers from the mainstream of work as we know it, and with that, many of the union members find themselves outside the traditional unions that they would have been within going forward, which then is more of a supporting reason or a compelling reason that we should look at the unity of workers going forward. We must appreciate, albeit late, the issue of the LAO conventions in making sure that we support and protect women workers. All workers, women in the workplace in general. There is a lot that still needs to be done. As much as we might be saying that South Africa is progressive in terms of Labor Relations Act and even our constitution, but there's still a lot to be done in protecting women. We know that the capital system in South Africa, generally, if it were to undermine the job quality and the wage and wages, it undermines it through saying that looking at the women as lesser of the people that are supposed to be working. And we would know that many of the lower paid work is mainly done by women. And we think that maybe the minimum wage also, when it was put up, that minimum wage would have done a lot in trying to remove that, because we want, where we're saying that equal work and equal pay, but also the minimum wage has at least mitigated in terms of saying that a woman worker would pay this much, would be paid this much, and a man worker would be paid this much. But we know, because we know that of the workers in the lower paying categories, that it would have always been women that are put on the foot in terms of the hierarchy of the salaries. So it starts there, where it recognizes everybody must start at a minimum wage for all of us. So it is in that we appreciate that, but there's still a lot to be done. We still need to go and fight for sectoral minimum wages, because so that the minimum wage should not come to also undermine the wages and the work quality that is done, and the achievements of the workers that are already there in place. They should not be undermined by the establishment of the minimum wage. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Sonyati. Can we get more participants? 3 more if possible. Anyone wants to come in? There's none. So I'm told that the other participants are struggling to unmute. They are on the platform, but they can't unmute Honorable Munyela as well. And Honorable Gada, I'm told that they are on the platform, but they can't unmute. I just received the SMS now. Now it makes it difficult for us to adopt this report. I'll then request that we move. We'll come back to this one. I hope the technical staff will assist us to engage with those that are finding it difficult to unmute. But also let me welcome on the platform the honorable MECs who have joined us: MEC Mamabolo, MEC Mukheti, and MEC Musupye. Welcome, honorable MECs. Thanks for joining the Workers' Parliament. Secretary, let's move to the next order.
Thank you, Chair. The last order, though we're still gonna go back to the second one. Yeah. The last order for the day that was programmed is the debate on the role of government in supporting business and workers, as well as having the themes, sub-themes. One being supporting and protecting the informal sector, and another is the impact of the stimulus packages on the protection and creation of employment and addressing youth unemployment. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let's go to Honorable Koshingipile Mdlalosi. Honorable Mdlalosi.
Thank you, Chair. Our Commission 3 was tasked with the topics as indicated. The first one is the support and the protection of the informal sector. All the research that we have available points to the fact that our informal sector was the biggest employer in our country. And with COVID, and despite the stimulus that has been given to them, it is clear that our unemployment rates is already increasing still, despite the help that the government has given us. It is clear that we are struggling as a country, and the question that we asked ourselves in our committee was, is the stimulus package enough to effectively support the informal sector of the economy? It is also important to note that the informal sector does not necessarily enjoy the same level of importance as the formal sector. So as a result, they find it very hard to access the stimulus that has been offered to them by the government. The rest of the team will talk to answering these questions to whether, as Labour in South Africa, we do feel that the stimulus is enough or not to support our informal sector. Already, we can see that most of the small businesses are closing down and more people are losing jobs. And the second topic that we had to explore was the impact of the stimulus in protecting and the creation of employment and in addressing the youth unemployment. When we looked at that, we looked at the percentages of the youth in South Africa, and the majority of the unemployment resides in this age group of 25 to 34 years. Although there has been some programs that have been put in place to try and assist with the youth in making sure that they are protected and jobs are created and they are ready to stimulate our economy, it is clear that what we have been given by the government as a stimulus to try and assist might not be enough as well. And we also do agree that we need partnership with the government and businesses, labor, and the community as a whole to try and come together to try and address the challenges that we're having that are affecting our youth, especially in this time. So, Chair, we have come up with some questions that needs to be answered. The rest of my team, as you're calling them, they will be answering to these questions. I'll go through all the questions for now. The first question is the stimulus package enough to effectively support the informal sector of the economy? We're gonna have somebody who's gonna talk to that. The second question is the relief package easily accessible? Third question, which sectors present opportunities to create more jobs in the current situation? Question 4, given the fact that the informal sector is mostly unregulated, how certain is government that all the intended beneficiaries do have access to funds aimed at assisting them during this period? Question number 5 is, are funds being utilized as intended? Number 6, can the South African government account for funds or grants that have been dispersed and utilized to date? Number 7, will the stimulus package address the plight of youth? And the last question that will be answered by my team will be, will youth programs be strengthened to ensure employability and resilience amid the pandemic and beyond? Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Honorable Mdlalosi. Let's go to Honorable Jabu Micho. Honorable Micho. Honorable Micho. Honorable Jabu Micho.
Good morning.
Thank you. Go ahead. You have 3 minutes.
Yes, the first question is the stimulus package enough to effectively support the informal sector of the economy? Our answer is no, although the stimulus package helps to some extent. Based on the research provided, it is clear that more small businesses are facing closure and the rate of absorption in the sector continues to drop. Recommendation for government to strike a deal with the informal sector to find a way of regulating them, and the stimulus package should not end immediately after the pandemic. It should be available a while longer after that to ensure that business recover and are able to stand on their own. Innovation was part of the stimulus that was promised to deliver for 4 programs, however, was never implemented by the depth of the science and technology. The second one is the relief package easily accessible. Yes, for formal sectors, package is easily accessible because the qualification criteria and process is outlined. However, accessibility is hard for informal sector as they are not regulated and may not have all the required documentation to satisfy the criteria. A recommendation, government to strike a deal with informal sector to find a way of regulating them. Department of Labor must facilitate the registration process of informal sector and make it easy for them. Third question, which sectors present opportunity to create more jobs in the current situation? Transport. The pandemic gave rise to more transportation services like Uber, Bolt, and delivery services. Food. More takeout places were opened. IT and telecommunications. With people working from home and restricted movement, the need arose for these services to be in demand. PPEs, a rise in this industry was necessitated during the pandemic. A recommendation, government to support these sectors. Government tender system should be flexible for new contractors to come on board. Fourth question, given the fact that the informal sector is mostly unregulated, how certain is government that all intended beneficiaries to have access to fund aimed at assisting them during this period? Although the government tried to regulate the distribution of these funds, there is no proper way of ensuring the money ends up at the correct hands for informal or unregulated sectors. There is some control where the money goes for the regulated or formal sectors, as the Department of Labor is regulating these. Recommendation, government should come up with policies to regulate and fund distribution. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Micho. Let's go to, I'm told it's Honorable Member from Kosatu. I don't have the name, but I'm told it's an Honorable Member from Kosatu. Please go ahead if you know your name and introduce yourself.
Thanks, Honorable Leader. My name is Louisa Mwepe Mudiko. I'm the Provincial Secretary of Kosatu here in the province. The question that follows in this, okay.
You have 3 minutes, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. The following question, which is question number 5, says that are funds being utilized as intended? Our response is that no, funds are not used for correct purposes for the informal sector. And the funds are not even enough. And there's an issue of corruption that is involved. We are saying, yes, indeed, for formal sector, everything is under control and funds are utilized as intended. And the recommendation is this: investigation to be conducted on how the funds were used and distributed. Law must take its course where criminal activities are uncovered and monies must be recovered and redirected to the correct use. Corruption must come to an end. The following ones is saying, can the South African government account for funds or grants that have been disbursed and utilized to date? Yes, we are saying yes and no. The government can account for funds distributed to the Department of Labor. the qualification criteria was outlined. But on the no one is that the informal sector that are not regulated, those monies cannot be accounted for by the government, and that becomes a challenge and creates leeway for corruption. Question 7, will the stimulus package address the plight of youth? We are saying no. Education system of the country should be looked at to ensure no youth is allowed to leave school until grade 12. Youth who are not academic must be offered training in other skills. Proper legislation to be implemented to ensure youth complies with regulations. And then we recommend that job creation is a must to give youth skills to enable them to get a job in future. Cultivate entrepreneurs who will create job opportunities in the future. Create forums, Youth Indaba, to discuss issues of taking the country forward. Channel the youth to study towards skills that are needed in the future, like your transport, quality, risk, and IT management. Question 8, will youth programs be strengthened to ensure employable and resilience amid the pandemic and beyond? We are saying no. We do not have enough as a country to ensure this. Recommendation, we indicate again that job creation remains a must. That when we do the job creation, give youth skills to be able to be employable in the future. And then again, recultivate entrepreneurs who would also assist in making sure that the social platform is much more secured, and create youth forums or forums for Youth Indaba to discuss issues of taking the country forward. Lastly, channel the youth to study towards skills that are needed in the future, just like we have indicated above. Thanks, the Honorable.
Thank
Thanks,
you,
Honorable Chair, I'm done. Okay,
Thank you
thanks,
very
member.
much, Honorable Louisa. Can we have another person? I don't have the name. If you know that you are next after Honorable Louisa, can you please take the platform and introduce yourself?
Thank you, Honorable Chair. My name is Dorothy Sitole.
Yes, I have you. Dorothy Stola, I have you, but I just wanted another person. I'm not sure from which federation is that, who are supposed to speak, but that person is not here. Go ahead, Dorothy.
All right, thank you, Chair. My strive is how pandemic has changed our world. This pandemic has changed our world in a most difficult way. We had a loss of blood of unemployment and a shortage of skills due to people who were passing. And at the end of the day, we have to reskill. There's a lot of graduates with no employment as we speak. So, which means it's in addition to the unemployment rate that we are having due to companies, they are shutting down due to a lack of income. Both public and private sector, they have a budget. But now the budget has gone to a constraint to make ends meet in terms of advertising posts. We need posts because we had a lot of members that we lost due to this fight of who succumbed to this COVID-19, from the police service, from the health, from the transport service, from even also on other public and private sectors. So the government has to make sure that those posts are being re-advertised. The young youth can be able to get some work again. And then workers are still starving due to non-availability of these relief funds, namely the TERS fund. They are still going to offices, and then they find that the money they were given to their employer, in return, the employer never give the money to them. We go again. The members from the tourism industry has been hit hard, as well as hospitality, entertainment, due to the fact that we had our country being shut down. So they are struggling and they didn't get even a relief fund, some of the tourism industry people. We have a youth that is very much skillful. They are in crafts, they are in small businesses, but cannot get funding. And in fact, the government has to ensure that they get funded so that they can be able so that we can see their skills, how they maneuver their skills, because we've got skillful youth who are even participating on SMMEs, but at the end of the day, they cannot maneuver their businesses due to funding. The 500 billion stimulus package that was meant to protect our jobs, support economy, as well as recover the economy, has been misdirected and all lost to corruption. So we need to eradicate corruption by putting measures and regulation in place so that the money that has been misdirected can be recovered, and then so that we can sustain our country. The relief package was not accessible, it comes to us, because we had a lot of members who went to the UIF offices just to get the accessibility of those funds, where the UIF office demands to demand those monies. So in a nutshell, we ask the government, let us empower the local community. We start from the ground so that we can get our youth, so that they can participate in youth programs that are going to be funded. And then for the day, we can eradicate even crime. Thank you very much, Chair.
Thank you very much, Honorable Dorothy. We're now going to call for an open time, and I will only allow 4 participants to speak to the debate, and also note that the participants who are on the speaking list will not be able to speak or be allowed to engage during the open time. And also do not forget to mention your name and Rule 77.7. Thank you. Can we have those who want to comment, participate in the debate? Any take? Bakhona abafuna ukukhuluma? There's no one. Then I'll now call Honorable Chairperson of the Commission to reply to the debate and move for the adoption of the Commission's report. Honorable Mdlalosi.
Thank you, Chair. Yes, we're adopting the report, Chair.
I now call for a seconder. Any seconder?
Seconded, Chairperson.
Thank you very much.
Jabu Moche.
Thank you very much, Jabu. I now put the question. All those in favor say yes. All
Yes,
those
Chair.
are in
Yes,
favor?
yes, Chair.
Okay. And all
Yes,
those-
Honorable Chairperson.
Thank you. All those not in favor say no. The yes have it. The report is adopted. Tate Ralph Chilwane, how do we deal with the second commission? And I must also remind the chairperson, Mdlalosi, to hand over the resolutions of the commission on the debate on the role of government in supporting business and workers to the secretary. Ralph, I've now closed the debate. Can we deal with the second commission? How do we deal with that issue?
Well, let me come in, Chair.
Yes, Mtate Kanyan.
No, thank you very much. I'll take it. We had 2 commissions that we have gone through, which is Commission 1 and Commission 3.
Yeah.
So the Commission 2, because we didn't really have participants, will therefore put it in abeyance. So there'll be the 2 resolutions, the resolutions from 1 and 2 that we move forward. Unless we have them that we can really move on, Ralph can come in if ever is available, or Makamba. If they are not, then we're going to move on without those.
Without Commission 2.
Okay.
Okay, Mr. Makamba? Or Mr. Ralph?
Thank you, Chair. Indeed, I think there was still struggling. There was no, I don't see any other colleagues that were able to join or be able to participate further. I think we can move from where we ended with those few that had participated and be able to process all the information that has been put forward. And we'll see how we work out the report from there.
Okay, thank you very much. I would like to take this opportunity to thank all the honorable members for their contribution in the various debate and your contribution. I want to thank you so much. We are now moving to the next item, item 11. I'd like to call Honorable Sizakele Nkosi Malobane to receive and hand over the resolutions to the chairperson of the Finance Portfolio Committee for further processing, and also to give the vote of thanks on behalf of the legislature. The Honorable Chair of Chairs.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair Mpisi, for the opportunity. Let me first acknowledge the MEC for Finance, Honorable Nomantunko Morali Hoko, and also the MEC for Health, as well as MEC for Social Development. Let me also acknowledge the Deputy Speaker, Honorable Nomvuyo Mhlakaza Manamela. I'm not sure acknowledge Honorable Speaker. Chair, if there are MPLs present, let me also acknowledge them, as well as the members of the House who debated today, but also those that were observers in the meeting. Let me also acknowledge our good staff who managed to organize this meeting. There might have been challenges at the beginning, but I think at the end of the day, we managed to actually get the gist of the matter. We have managed to get the resolutions from different commissions, and those resolutions will be processed by the legislature and will make sure that they are handed over to the executive for consideration. I'm greatly privileged and humbly honored to have been asked to extend a vote of thanks on this historic occasion of Workers' Parliament to the leadership of workers of Gauteng. The very presence of you today at this parliament, in spite of your busy schedule, is a reflection of the importance that you attach to the development and interest of the workers. Honorable Papa, Madam Speaker and Deputy Speaker, as well as our MECs present and the chair of the session, were inspired by your guidance and leadership. It is my sincere hope that your wisdom will enhance the relationship the GPL has built with labor federations in Gauteng. I was particularly inspired by the presence of MEC for Finance, Honorable Nomantunko Morali Hoko, who graced this occasion. It is with this inspiration that I, on behalf of the Gauteng Provincial Legislature, we extend a very hearty vote of thanks for sharing with us your vision and wisdom on issues affecting workers. I would also like to take this opportunity to express our thanks and guidance and gratitude to the Chairperson of Finance, Honorable Joe Mpisi, who did the sterling job of program directing this historic meeting. A special thanks goes to all leaders of federations for their contribution and presentation that enriched the debates. We rely on your continued support as the pillars of the legislative sector. Finally, let me take this opportunity to indicate that for the past 23 years of democracy in our country, we've seen enormous advances for the workers in South Africa. Democracy has ensured that workers enjoy constitutional guarantees, workers' rights, as well as other basic human rights. However, we cannot ignore the fact that There is still a lot that we must do together to advance the interest of the workers. There is still a lot of work to be done to improve working conditions, address the occupational health and safety measures in workplaces, relook the minimum wage discourse, as well as casualization, low wages, and outsourcing. This sector parliament has indeed stepped on the footsteps of those who came before us and acknowledged the contribution and the cause of workers' liberation. We value their relentless in the broader national democratic struggle for a united, non-racial, non-sexist, and prosperous country. Honorable ladies and gentlemen, comrades, honorable members, a very special thanks goes to you, shop stewards, for your valuable contribution and engagement on the topics of the sector parliament. Thank you very much, Chairperson.
Thank you, Honorable Chair of Chairs. We really appreciate your input and your remarks. At this moment, I want to thank all of the participants and all the MECs and MPs, MPLs who have joined us today. And I want to thank all the Federation for their hard work. I know it wasn't easy, but we really appreciate the work that has been put in place. And we really appreciate all of you who have participated in this Workers' Parliament. That concludes the business for the day. The House is now adjourned. Thank you very much and enjoy the rest of your day. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you,
Chair.
Thank you, Chair.
Honorable Chair. Goodbye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye, Chair.